980. My name is Les Brown, and we come your way Monday through Friday from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock and bring you a program that is designed to really ward off some of the negative things that you encounter each and every day, to build mental resiliency and to create new possibilities in your life by providing a program giving you some insight and some breakthroughs by some of the stories that you hear and how to handle this thing called life. They said life is unpredictable. In life, you either in a problem, just left one, or headed toward one. And I know if you have not learned how to handle your temper, how to handle anger, it can cause you some problems in life. I know an incredible man. This man, he was a football coach at Ohio State, Woody Hayes, and he lost his temper in a football game and hit an opposing player. And people don't know all the good work that he did with football players who played for him, the time that he invested out from the sight of the cameras, just his own personal time and energy. He really loved his players and stayed involved in their lives for years, but most people don't remember that. They just remember that moment when Woody Hayes lost his temper during a football game that was on television. We're talking about today, the singer Chris Brown has an album coming out today, and he was interviewed on Good Morning America, and they asked him about his relationship with his former girlfriend, Rihanna. Everybody knows about it. And he said, you know, they're friends somewhat. They've relaxed the restraining order, and he avoided follow-up questions. But an ABC staff member said that security were called to his dressing room later on because they heard noise coming from there and shattering of glass. Obviously, they said that he'd lost his temper. And we know all kind of celebrities lose their tempers in different situations, but celebrities are human too. And so when I was reading this story, I just thought about situations where I lost my temper. I had rented somebody in the house, and I talked to my attorney, and she said, Les, please don't. I rented somebody an apartment and gave them an opportunity to move in and didn't even get a security deposit. They were in a desperate situation, lowered the rent, gave them a break. I didn't want the apartment sitting there empty and somebody could use it and say, look here, just pay me just 50% of what I would have gotten anyhow. And after about 4 months, I realized this guy was not going to pay me anything. He's just using me. And so I said, man, would you please leave? Just leave. Just go. And he wouldn't go. Then I had to go to court and pay money to get him out legally and won that. And when I finally came to my apartment to see if he had left, he left, but boy, he trashed it. I mean, he broke the sink, he just broke windows, and the drywall, just trashed my apartment. I was angry. You hear me? I was angry. I wanted to face him physically, but I knew he would file charges against me. I knew that if I had confronted him physically, so I didn't do that. And then I had an idea. I know he loved his car. Oh, he loved this car. This is what he used to pull the ladies with. He loved this car. It was beautiful. It was convertible. He loved this car. And the way he had it parked at a place, because he also did some work with the police department, I knew they had cameras out in the parking lot. And so what I did was I put on a cap one day. I didn't go out there and try and scrape it and scratch the car all up, because I know they would see that and come running out. But I did go to the store and bought around 50 pounds of sugar. Oh, I'm not proud of this. Some sugar demons were on me that day. I bought 50 pounds of sugar. I'm getting excited as I talk about it. And went to the hardware store and got me a funnel. And I poured it in his gas tank. Yes, I did. Yes. And some days I would follow him from a distance, just waiting for it to stop. But I wasn't through. I went to the police station where they had these horses, and they had this container that they put all the horse manure, and I got some of that and boxed that up, and I put that all over in his nice fine car, put it all over, just had it smeared all in the car at a nightclub where he went one night. And when he came out to his car, there it was, full of horse manure. And he would call me at different times and tell me things that somebody had done to him. And I would listen and say, is that right, man? I'm so sorry to hear that. Sometimes I would pray with him, the whole works, you know. He never knew it was me. He never knew. I never showed any anger. I was very cool. I never said anything to him, because when I get real angry, my voice gets real low. Let me talk to somebody that's much more normal. Hello, Courtney. How are you?
I am well, Thank you, and thank you for taking my call. I'm honored.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We're talking about anger, ladies and gentlemen. If you had a situation where somebody just caused you to go off the deep end and you were temporarily insane, call now. 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. What happened with you, Courtney?
Well, I used to work for the sheriff's department. I was parking enforcement, out doing my job one evening, and I happened upon a car that was parked on the wrong side of the street. So I started writing out a citation for the car, and a lady came out to the car, and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm giving this car a ticket." And she said, "Well, that's my husband's car." I said, "Okay." And she said, "Well, why are you giving him a ticket?" And I said, "Well, he's parked on the wrong side of the street." And she said, "Well, he came home for lunch." I said, "Okay." And as close as my mouth is to the phone, Les, she leaned over to my window and she said, "UNB." And I lost it. I really did. All I could see was my life flash before my eyes. I saw my daughter. There was a murder in the area, and I just lost all focus. I was calling for backup because I didn't really know how I was going to react to that. I had never experienced that a day in my life.
Yes.
And someone came over and talked to her and told her if she had as much as spit on me, that they could have arrested her for a terrorist threat.
Wow.
But that was strong for me, very strong. And in briefing, our sergeant used to always tell us, prepare yourself. Wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, "B," because that's what you're going to deal with all day. But another thing they taught us was to start low and then go high.
What do you mean by start low and then go high? Start speaking low?
Yeah, start speaking low or react low, because if you start high, then you have nowhere else to go.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for sharing that story. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Les.
Hey, listen, I want to hear, tell me a situation you've been in and that you lost it. Has it ever happened to you in driving? I had a situation where somebody pulled in front of me, and it just seemed like this guy was just doing this deliberately. And so I followed him. He got off the expressway. I followed him. I don't know what I was going to do. I just followed this dude all around, and I think I unnerved him. Then he started speeding up, trying to outrun me, and I was speeding behind him, and then he had an accident, so I just kept going. You look back in your life and said, was I crazy or what? I was crazy. There are situations where that you've lost it, and then you had to call yourself on it. And when I look at it, what I realize is you have to ask yourself, number one, is it worth it? Is it worth it? What is it worth, this situation that you're in? What is it worth? I had to learn that lesson the hard way. And the next thing is take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Don't react. You got to respond. Now, I've been in situations that it just happened so quickly. I was so caught up in the moment. It happened so quickly. I didn't exactly give myself an opportunity to have to think. I didn't allow myself to think at that particular time, because we always have the power to think. I want to hear about you and what you've ever had to deal with and controlling and dealing with your anger. The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980.